We got called to a residential fire just before 6 p.m., kitchen fire, spreading fast. Family evacuated safely, dispatcher said. But when we pulled up, I knew something was wrong. A man and woman stood in the front yard, the woman screaming, the man trying to run toward the house. Two of my crew had to physically hold him back. "My daughter!" the man was shouting. "She's still inside!" My blood went cold. The woman collapsed to her knees on the grass. "Mia! Oh God, Mia!" I ran over. "How old?" "6," the man choked out. "She's 6. She was upstairs in her room. We thought she was behind us." "Where upstairs?" "Her bedroom. Second door on the right. She was with the dog. Our dog." I didn't wait for more. Grabbed my gear and headed in. Smoke was thick on the first floor. The kitchen was fully involved, flames spreading to the cabinets, the ceiling. We got water on it immediately, but my focus was on those stairs. I took them two at a time, called out, "MIA. Fire department. MIA. CANYOUHEARME. Nothing. The smoke was heavier up here. I moved down the hallway, checking each room. First door, nothing. Second door on the right, her bedroom. I pushed it open. Pink walls. Stuffed animals on the bed. Empty. MIA. Then I heard it. Faint. A whimper. Not human. A dog. I moved down the hall. The bathroom door was closed. I tried the handle. Locked from the inside. Number. Not locked. Something was blocking it. I pushed harder. The door gave an inch. I could see through the crack. A dog. Large. Brown. Pressed against the door. "MIA!" I called again. A small voice. Quiet. Scared. "I'm here. Thank God." I pushed the door open slowly. The dog didn't move away. Just watched me with one visible eye, the other hidden behind a distinctive black patch. And there, sitting in the bathtub with her arms wrapped around the dog's neck, was a little girl. 6 years old. Tears streaking her face. But alive. The dog was positioned between her and the door. Between her and the smoke. His fur was singed along his back. His breathing was labored, but he hadn't left her. "Hey, Mia," I said softly. "My name's Dean. I'm here to take you to your mom and dad." She nodded but didn't let go of the dog. "Is this your dog?" "Scout," she whispered. "His name is Scout." Scout looked up at me. His brown eyes were tired, watery from the smoke. But there was something in them, something that said, "I kept her safe. Now you take over." "Okay," I said. "Let's get both of you out of here. Let me tell you how this fire really started." The parents were Jake and Lisa Chen. The little girl was Mia, their only child. Scout, the dog with the patch over his eye, had been part of their family for exactly 1 week. After we got Mia and Scout outside, after the paramedics checked Mia over and confirmed she was fine, after Lisa held her daughter and sobbed into her hair, after Jake knelt in the grass and buried his face in Scout's fur, that's when they told me the story. 1 week ago, they'd gone to the animal shelter, not planning to adopt, just looking. Mia had been asking for a dog for months, but Jake and Lisa weren't sure they were ready. Dogs were a lot of responsibility, a lot of work. They'd told Mia they were just going to look. No promises. The shelter was crowded. Rows of kennels, dogs barking, some jumping at the gates, excited, wanting attention. Others sitting quietly in the back, resigned to their fate. Mia walked slowly down the row, looking at each dog, the puppies, the young ones, the energetic ones that all the family seemed to want. Then she stopped. At the end of the row, in the last kennel, sat a brown lab mix, older, gray around his muzzle. One eye covered by a black patch of fur that made him look like a pirate. He wasn't jumping, wasn't barking, just sitting there, watching. "That one," Mia said. Lisa looked at the card on the kennel. "Honey, he's 7 years old. That's pretty old for a dog." "Can I meet him?" The shelter worker brought Scout out to the meet and greet room. The moment she opened the door, Scout walked directly to Mia, sat down in front of her, put his head on her knee. Mia wrapped her arms around his neck. "Hi, Scout," she whispered, reading his name tag. Scout's tail wagged once, slow, like he'd been waiting for this moment his whole life. Jake pulled the shelter worker aside, asked the question he needed to ask. "How much time does he have left here?" The worker looked uncomfortable. "He's been with us 6 months. We're overcrowded. Senior dogs are hard to place. He's scheduled for next week." Jake felt his stomach drop. "Scheduled for..." The worker nodded. "I'm sorry, we don't have space. And nobody wants a 7-year-old dog when there are puppies available." Jake looked back at Mia. She was sitting on the floor now, Scout's head in her lap. She was telling him something, promising him something. Lisa saw the look on Jake's face. "What did they say?" "They're putting him down next week." Lisa's hand went to her mouth. She looked at Mia and Scout, at the way the dog seemed to relax for the first time since they'd entered the room. "Jake," Lisa said slowly, "we were talking about getting a puppy, someone young, someone who'd be around for 10, 12 years. I know. If we adopt Scout, we might only get 5 years, maybe 7. I know." They both watched their daughter. She was showing Scout her shoes, pointing out the lights that blinked when she walked. Scout was watching her like she was the most important thing in the world. "But he needs us now," Lisa said quietly. "Doesn't he?" Jake nodded. "Yeah, he does." When they told Mia they were adopting Scout, she cried. Happy tears. She hugged her parents, then hugged Scout, then hugged her parents again. "I knew it," she said. "I knew he was supposed to come home with us." That was 1 week ago. 7 days of Scout learning the house, learning the routine, sleeping at the foot of Mia's bed, following her from room to room, slowly starting to trust that this was real, that he wasn't going back. And tonight, when the grease fire started in the kitchen, when the smoke alarm screamed and everyone ran, Scout made a choice. He could have followed Jake and Lisa out the front door, could have saved himself. Instead, he ran upstairs, found Mia frozen in her bedroom doorway, crying, scared. He nudged her, hard, herded her toward the bathroom, the one room with a door and a bathtub and tiles that wouldn't burn. Somehow, he got her into the tub. Somehow, he positioned himself between her and the door, and when the smoke got thick, when it filled the hallway and crept under the door, Scout pressed his body against it, made himself a barrier. When I found them, Scout's fur was singed, his breathing was labored. He had smoke in his lungs and burns on his back. But Mia didn't have a scratch on her. The paramedics wanted to take Mia to the hospital, just to be sure. Lisa rode with her. Jake stayed behind with Scout. A veterinarian happened to live 2 houses down. She came over with her medical bag, knelt in the grass next to Scout, and started treating him on the spot. "Smoke inhalation," she said, listening to his lungs. "Some minor burns. He's going to be sore for a few days, but he's going to be fine." Jake's shoulders sagged with relief. I watched him sit there in the grass, this grown man, hands trembling as he stroked Scout's head. Scout's tail wagged weakly. "We almost didn't adopt him," Jake said to me. "We were going to get a puppy, something young. We thought 7 was too old, that we'd only get a few years." He looked at Scout, at the singed fur, at the patch over the dog's eye. "I almost said no because I was worried about how many years we'd have together." His voice broke. "And he saved my daughter's life after 7 days." I knelt down next to them, scratched Scout behind his ears. The dog leaned into it, eyes half closed. "He's a good dog," I said. "He's the best dog," Jake said. "We've had him 1 week. 1 week. And he knew. He knew to protect her." The vet finished wrapping Scout's paws where the burns were worst. "He'll need rest, pain medication, but he's tough. He's going to pull through." Jake nodded, couldn't speak. By the time Lisa and Mia got back from the hospital, we'd contained the fire. The kitchen was destroyed and the house had smoke damage, but it was structurally sound. They'd need to stay elsewhere for a while, but they still had a home. Mia ran straight to Scout. Carefully, gently, she sat down next to him in the grass. Put her head on his shoulder. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for finding me." Scout's tail wagged. He licked her cheek once. Lisa watched them, tears streaming down her face. The shelter worker said nobody wanted him because he was too old. Jake put his arm around her. Someone did. Before we left, Mia came up to me. She was holding Scout's leash, even though he wasn't going anywhere. "Mr. Firefighter?" I crouched down. "You can call me Dean." "Dean," she said seriously, "can you make sure everyone knows Scout is a hero? I think they already know, sweetheart. But I want everyone to know. He saved me. He's the best dog in the world." I looked at Scout, sitting calmly beside her. The dog who'd been hours away from being put down. The dog nobody wanted. "I'll make sure everyone knows," I promised. "You know, people ask me why I do this job, why I run into burning buildings, why I put my life on the line for strangers. And the honest answer is, because of moments like finding Mia safe in that bathtub. But what stays with me isn't just finding her safe. It's Scout. A 7-year-old dog that the world had decided wasn't worth keeping. Too old. Too much work. Not cute enough. Not young enough. Not worth the investment. He had 6 months in that shelter. 6 months of watching families walk past his kennel. 6 months of seeing puppies get adopted while he sat in the back, knowing his time was running out. Then a 6-year-old girl looked at him and saw something no one else did. She saw family. And Scout, he'd been saved. After years of being unwanted, someone chose him. So when the fire started, when that house filled with smoke, Scout didn't run. He protected the little girl who'd saved him first. That's the thing about rescue dogs. They remember, they know what it means to be saved, and they spend the rest of their lives trying to pay it back. Jake and Lisa almost didn't adopt Scout. They were worried about time, about only getting 5 or 7 years instead of 10 or 12 with a puppy. But here's what I've learned in 18 years of doing this job. Love doesn't need time, it needs trust. Scout loved that family after 1 week, not because of how long he'd been there, but because they'd chosen him when no one else would. And that love was strong enough to run into danger. Strong enough to put himself between a little girl and a fire. Strong enough to stay, even when his lungs were burning and his fur was singed. Jake said it best. I almost said no, because I was worried about how many years we'd have together, and he saved my daughter's life after 7 days. 7 days. That's all it took for Scout to prove he was worth it. That age doesn't matter, that senior dogs have just as much love to give. Maybe more, because they know what it's like to be forgotten. If you're thinking about adopting a pet, if you're standing in that shelter, looking at the puppies while an older dog sits quietly in the back, waiting, I want you to think about Scout. Think about the dog nobody wanted, the one who was hours away from being put down because he wasn't young enough, cute enough, perfect enough. That dog became a hero in 7 days, not because he was young or energetic or had his whole life ahead of him, but because he knew what it meant to be saved, and he spent his second chance protecting the little girl who'd given it to him. Mia told me Scout was the best dog in the world. She's right, not because he's perfect, but because when it mattered most, when smoke filled the house and fear could have made him run, he chose love instead. That's what rescue dogs do. They don't need time to bond, they need trust. And once they have it, they'll give you everything they've got, even if it's only for 7 days. Especially if it's only for 7 days. Because rescue dogs know something we forget sometimes. It's not about how much time you have. It's about what you do with it. Stay safe out there.